Welcome back to the Sit-Up East complex. I'm actually standing on the track now for this Isaflow Mining Cup group encounter. This between Excelsior and St. George's College. Well, the game news we're getting now that the game has been called off because the captain of St. George's team fell down to the turf. No one actually challenged him after 2 minutes of action. He was rushed to the hospital. There was no stretcher here. And the news that we're hearing, and not confirmed just yet, that the young man has passed away. So I don't think the St. George's players can continue. They are not going to continue. And we just spoke to the referee, Wilfred Glenlamy, and I don't know if he got word, but it has been called off. But so there'll be no play in the second half of this matchup. With Glenlamy now coming on the field along with his assistants, and we see the coach of Excelsior, Savannah Thomas, and the HOD of the Excelsior team, Xavier Gilbert, also walking off with Mr. Bromfield, the principal of Excelsior, also there in the mix. But Glenlamy says no, but we see the St. George's players coming back on. We don't know if they're going to be playing. Are they going to be playing? As we see Neville Burtis Bell leading his troops on the field. And he's actually crying. Alex Marshall also crying. The players walking behind each other on the field. And being hugged, Neville Burtis Bell, by Shavar. And they're actually walking to the center circle. St. George's players holding each other, tears rolling down their faces. Paul Young Jr. is also in the mix crying. Cordell Irving, a former player with the team members, the crying going into the center circle. I don't know if it's a show of respect. They're being helped up into the center circle. And Neville Burtis Bell is hugging his players as we pleasantly speak. And some of the players are down on the ground, can't make it to the center circle, but it's being helped somewhat. Goalkeeper Wilson is there. So the players of Excelsior also walking down to the center circle, a show of respect. The spectators are still inside of the stands of the Stadium East complex, as all players are walking inside of the center circle right now, as what we witnessed in the first half was not football at all. It goes beyond football. It's a flow Manning Cup, all about this group encounter. The players are just walking on the ground right now. You see Captain or the Vice Captain Thorpe Graham also there, part of the Excelsior unit. Cordell Irving also in tears at this present time. Like he's in disbelief. But so too, the players are inside of the center circle. There's grouped all around players from Excelsior, players from St. George's College, as grieving the loss of their captain. He was playing the first 2 minutes, fell down to the turf, and was rushed to the hospital. There was no stretcher here, but he was helped up by persons, and he looked unconscious when he was helped up to the ambulance that was summoned for the first 2 minutes of the game. That actually happened. The news came at the end of the first half when the players were coming off the field. So Neville Burtis Bell hugged by Xavier Gilbert, who's also, I said, George's old boy and head of department here at Excelsior High School. Savannah Thomas also here in the mix, and the huddle is there. And just to say though that having a prayer at this present time, what a day it has been. This goes beyond football. This goes beyond anything. Loss of a life of a youngster in high school. It's not what you'd want to see at this level. And just to say, though, that it's the saddest thing could happen in schoolboy football. I've never witnessed this in my life. I've watched schoolboy football from the early 80s till now. I've never, ever seen anything like this. The youngster actually just dropping on the ground. And everyone, they waved to the respective benches. Persons from Excelsior rushed over to the individuals. Persons from St. George's ran on. We see the medical practitioner putting on his gloves and checking the player while he was down. They rolled him over, putting on his left side and put him on his back. Then they helped him up. Never Burtis Bell was a part of the crew that helped lift him off the field and rushed him outside. The ambulance came. There's no stretcher here to help him off the field. And certainly the tears are all around. And they're hugged right inside of the center circle, just having a prayer. It is not the greatest sight you'd want to see for a schoolboy football matchup. And indeed, this has been a roller coaster ride, this matchup between St. George's and Excelsior. It's a Flow Manning Cup Group A encounter at the Stadium East Complex. Never Burtis Bell brought to tears. He was consoled at the end of the first half. Persons are now kneeling, everyone, players and also officials are kneeling. Principals also are kneeling inside of the center circle. Alex Marshall, he stands up. Only player to stand up. Everyone else kneels. All for St. George's are crying. Some of the players here rolling down, the tears rolling down their faces. Just to say, though, that it's the worst possible moment that happened at a schoolboy football matchup. This is not football at all. This goes beyond that. It shows how minute a sport is when it comes on to the loss of life. And Never Burtis Bell is there just helping up his players to move on and consoling respective players. He has to stand as a father right now as they walk back from the center circle and they walk back in as Never Burtis Bell. The news you hear. What's the news you heard?
Well, Sean, we just called and heard that Dominic passed. Boy, this one tough. It's never happened to me as a coach that we lost a player, whether from our team or the other team. I can just imagine what his mother and father feel like now because he's their only child. I never saw this before. I'm not certain what went on. The doctor told me that he had a seizure. Never happened before. I pray for his family. I pray for everyone who was here today. I think the Excelsior team, they feel as bad. They were so good to us. They were so very good to us. But boy, this one tough, Sean. This one tough.
When you saw him drop on the ground, you were a bit concerned at that time?
I was very concerned because I hadn't seen it. And when I looked at his eyes, they were very glazed. The doctors, we had two doctors here. They went immediately. And immediately they said, check him. I think we have to give the assistant referee a lot of credit because it was off the ball and he went down and it was the assistant who stopped the game immediately and called us. But as I said, it has never happened before. God, we know we have to go on, but boy, this one tough, Sean. This one tough.
Last question though, you helped lift him up off the field. When you looked at his eyes, what you saw at that time?
No, it was just glazed. It was almost like he didn't know. He was out. I mean, I know he was alive when he left here. And then when we called, we heard that he has passed. But I pray for his mother and father. Again, he's the only child. He's such a wonderful child. He's a great student athlete. He has so many subjects. Came to us from JC a couple of years ago. The fact that he was named captain this year, we realized that he was probably the leader for the team. But again, boy, this one tough. It's almost like I lost my son. Well, I think you know the way I coach Sean, and I love them so much. But again, this is just not about me. This is about his family, his friends, the team here. I thank the referees for calling the game off. Boy, I don't know if we could have handled it. I don't know if the Excelsior team could have handled it because they were so very concerned. So we just pray that he's close to the Father. We're always told that when you die, you're in a better place. I pray he's with him now, and we will obviously have to continue the season. I don't think we can do anything, but boy, this one tough, Sean. This one tough.
Condolence, sister. Condolence.
Yeah, man.
That's Never Burtis Bell. You just heard a short while ago. Speaking about the young man passing away. I mean, he represented St. George's College last year, but before that, he was a part of the Jamaica College winning Manning Cup team. Did not play a lot, played about 2 or 3 games for Jamaica College and switched to St. George's College last year. Instrumental, also a player at the Waterhouse Football Club, a young member of the Waterhouse Football Club. I liked his play. He was a maestro. Always spoke about him, and in terms of his touches, I thought his intentions were great, but sometimes his weight of the passes were a lot to be desired. But when he gets